Hi, and welcome to my first personal podcast. As I'm formulating my same platform and creating direction and experience with what I want to achieve through this project, I thought I could use some practice with my writing and speaking. And a beautiful thing about starting out a project is just that you are starting out and that it can literally be whatever you want it to be because it's yours. So I appreciate that you're listening, and I hope you can take something from whatever I'm going to say. Why getting rejected was the best thing to happen to me this summer, an open letter to college students. I previously revised this from an open letter to business students, but just want to open up the demographic for everybody here. So how do I follow up to this blog title? I really kind of set up myself up for this one, but stay tuned, it will get good. As I'm attempting to start my blog, I noticed that one of my roadblocks to establishing posts was that I would often start writing and go off on a million different tangents, backstories, and explanations. I felt like I had to encompass my whole life story to prove to you, the reader or listener, that I was dimensional and more than just one glimpse of a story. Woe is me, this just ended up being me blogging for approximately 2 paragraphs and giving up. Therefore, this post will have a focus, and today that is rejection. After returning from a semester in Hong Kong, insert possible tangent here, and having a rough time going back to school in State College, possible long backstory here, I found myself running around like a chicken wearing a business suit with its head cut off. Do you smell that? It's job hunting season. Except, like a pregnancy scare, I was more on the late end of things. While I was away, I was hearing about all the great internships my friends had gotten, which was followed by me coming back to school to be told by recruiters that I had missed the oh-so-sweet spot of timing. Come back next year, they said. I spent a good 2 months of my junior year, second semester, putting on my suit and practicing interviews. And after a while, it's pretty hard not to define your self-worth by how much a person you met for 30 seconds determines your value compared to the line of much more qualified individuals. It was a good 2 months of ample rejection, and I bet if I've ever been in a relationship, shameless self-pity plug, I bet it stings something like that. Once the semester was over, I came home ready to recharge and gain hope. I started shooting out my resume everywhere I could, and just like pre-com, my resume was a myth to recruiters. I learned a lot during this process, though. Potential follow-up post alert. This dark downhill of my identity, the small glimmer of hope, to the pitfall of distractions, to the uphill climb, repeat this process over and over about 1,000 times, and then to where I am today. I had made my career the fuckboy I couldn't let go of. I got past this, but it really is easier said than done. No matter how many times you give the inspirational, "I'm really fine, I'm just being different" speech to your peers or tell yourself how amazing you are every morning, this learning process did not become solidified for me until I believed it myself, that I was okay. What is this magical process, you ask? That is what this podcast is about. So I guess I'll start from the end and work my way backwards. I'm leaving this Friday to go to Ghana for 6 weeks to visit my roommate from Hong Kong and to work at Impact Hub. So this is a sentence I would never have imagined I would be able to say. Just like saying I studied abroad in Hong Kong for 4 months, or I started a podcast, or I interned at blankety blank. I just never thought I'd be able to have these opportunities. I was raised in a family where you had to work for a reward. My parents were immigrants, and we started off living in a townhome where myself and my 2 siblings would fight over who got to sleep on the couch that night. Even in high school with strict parents and then going to college with more liberation, I always had the mentality that I had to deserve things. Even now, going into my senior year, when I go out for dinner or for a night out with friends, I ask myself, did I do good enough work today to have fun? Can I spend this money on myself today? I'm thankful to be raised in such a way where my parents have humbled me and reminded me the value of money and of the opportunities we have, how far we have come through their hard work. But recently, I have been seeing another side of this. I've always struggled with enjoying the moment I live in, and because I had depression for a portion of my life when I was younger and still battle with it today, it has been harder for me to hear people say things like, "You can just choose to be happy." Don't get me wrong, I do believe that, but for me, it's just a harder choice. I have a mental illness that still isn't talked about enough, is something from my past that I have to continually deal with, and is a cycle I can't control. Again, I can go on another tangent about this, but I can flesh this out another time. My battle with depression, along with understanding the value of the opportunities my parents and my situations have provided me with, have led me to one firm belief. I think that people have this mentality where opportunities, unless they fall onto our laps free of charge, shouldn't be capitalized on. Instead, we are told to go with the status quo, never asking for too much or pushing against the status or the boundaries of what we are given. Privilege, I feel like, has gained this negative connotation. It's never used in a positive way these days. White man's privilege, born into privilege, etc. But I'm trying to view privilege as something that we must capitalize on, no matter what degree or level that we receive it in. I know that my parents have worked extremely hard to achieve the careers and become the figures they are today, financially and otherwise. I have begun the path of understanding what their work means and what their sacrifice for us required. And I think this realization makes this capitalization on privilege a positive experience. That if we didn't capitalize on it, it would be a crime to others without it. If we do capitalize on it, we can help make opportunities for people who have less or inspire people to take action on their own lives. Our generation is keen on asking for things, better devices, better fashions, you name it. But I feel like we need to ask for things that are not easy to receive, that we need to work hard to receive them. Time over time, I've heard people say they would not go after opportunities that excite them or they are passionate about because of these roadblocks they created in their heads. Financial reasons, personal reasons. I can't study abroad because of money, or I can't change my major, it's too late. Tweeting, I would do anything to travel. But would you really do anything? Have you done anything? And I'm not here to say I know what your situation is or comprehend how difficult it may be to overcome the obstacles in your way. I know that they are very real. But I do know that where there's a will, there's a way is a true-ass statement. That if my father could go to college after coming to America with no English and be in the country for 1 year and then go to college and work his way up to become a CEO of a bank and all the other stories that are like this, then we really cannot say it's not possible for us. Fight the system, apply for a grant, work hard for a scholarship, the list continues. So I decided to ask my parents, my prudent, strict Korean American parents, to fund my trip to Ghana while I have no traditional internship this summer and no job. And they said yes. If only I underestimated their support and compassion, or my own capabilities as a person, or believed because an opportunity didn't fall onto my lap that I was worthless and didn't deserve anything, I could have prevented the most amazing and life-altering events from happening to me. Opportunities, get them, chase them, attack them, grab them by the balls. I believe that it's in the moments that we are not given blaring opportunities or ease of situations or clear signs pointing straight ahead that we must find our own, make our own, and discover our own. Even in stillness or reflection, not having control over our lives is something we learn when we are not given a certain degree of it, and then we have to learn what this means for our character. For me, I found that when opportunities were not blaring sirens, I lost steam and hope. So I tried giving up control. I worked hard on my roles as a student, taking steps to dig myself out of this hole that I had put myself in, and waking up the next day trying to be a little better than the day before, knowing that I would have to decide, become discouraged, and redecide to want to live and fight to get better. And then I realized the rest of it wasn't in my hands. They say that when a door closes, another one opens. I say, when a door closes, you need to learn to be content first with the place that you are in. Then you need to keep knocking until you find a door that God will open up for you. Yeah, so I will talk about God because even though Christianity is seen as this aggressive, conservative demon, and it isn't really in right now, and no one is allowed to talk about it without being attacked about religion, I don't think I'm going to let that popular opinion stifle my voice and make me ashamed of anything, even though it is really easy to feel that way these days. Plus, since this is my personal segment of my podcast, my own story, not interfering with the voices of the same series, I hope that's okay with you. I hope this doesn't, whatever opinions you hold, I hope you can respect and try to see my perspective and not let this undermine my positive values and insights. So no, I do not have an internship this summer. I did spend a month reflecting and refocusing what the reasons behind all my motivations were. And I am reteaching myself what I was told and what I had to do and be in society. Whatever obstacles are in your way, I hope you can be aware of all your resources, get creative, and fight for what you want to pursue. Damn, this kind of sounded like a graduation speech, but I guess since I'm not going to be the valedictorian of anything soon, I need to make my own opportunities. Ha ha ha, see what I did there. But I really do look forward to talking with people in Ghana and interviewing them for my future podcast episodes. So that will be like a little split from my normal in Penn State demographic. But I hope you'll still enjoy and learn from these people as I hope to do as well. So stay tuned and thanks for listening. I really appreciate it. I love you. And scene.